What is good, guys? Charles from Team COG coming at you guys here with my Utopia deck. So as you guys know, when Light of Vengeance came out, I think that was the set. We got a little bit of taste. We got some good support, but Konami's like, there's more stuff coming, but here, have the worst stuff now. And that really sucked. But now we got the stuff in Brothers of Legend, and the deck is a formidable foe. I'm not going to lie. Like, anyone who doesn't think so, just play it. The deck like this, the support the deck got from Brothers of Legend is insane. But anyway, guys, before I continue on, I just took this deck to locals, but I would like to go ahead and just tell you guys, if you guys want to help support the channel, check out the links down in the description below. You can do so by many ways, by hitting that join button, becoming a member, so you guys never miss a live stream, or just hitting that notification bell, so when I do go live, you just happen to be able to join it. And also, guys, if you guys don't know, Brothers of Legend just came out this Friday at the recording of this video, so go ahead and use my TCG Player affiliate link down below. Supporting the channel, costing you nothing extra. It just goes right back into the channel, so not much more can be said. It's greatly appreciated, and I appreciate all you who do it. So other than that, guys, there's really not much to talk about. At my locals was kind of fair. D-Barrier was running rampant, and of course, if you call XYZ against this deck, it's an automatic lose. But other than that, the deck did perform pretty well. This is the first iteration of the deck that I am testing, so there's gonna be a lot of change coming forward. However, I wanted to get this out and give you guys like a bare bone template of what you can, what you can use moving forward. And that's exactly what this is. Nothing more, nothing less. But we'll go ahead and start out with the deck profile, guys. 3 ZS Ascended Sage. This card is my favorite card in the entire deck. This card is a Cyber Dragon. If you control no monsters, special summon it. And then, if it's used as a material for a XYZ or a Utopia monster, you get to add any rank up spell from your deck. So you get to search. It's cool. It really is. But other than that, 3 of this guy, this is the card you're trying to get to as soon as possible. You're trying to beam it out with your Utopic Sage from your extra deck. I just really, I wish the entire deck was like this artwork. For some reason, I'm in love with this guy's artwork. Moving on to the next Zexal Sage, we are on to the Arm Sage. Arm Sage is decent. If you control only one monster and it's a level 4, you can special summon it. And then if you make an XYZ monster, I keep saying XYZ monster, but if you keep making a Utopia monster with this guy under it, you can add yourself any Zexal weapon. We only are playing 2, and conveniently, of course, as it always goes, living in the Midwest, the mail is always doing us in. I don't have my Tornado Bringer, so sadly I just had to play the 1, which is okay. I did miss it, not gonna lie, so if you guys think you can just play the Tornado Bringer, or I think it's Tornado Bringer, Tornado Blade, whatever it is, but there's 2 other Zexal Sages. They're not the best. The next one that I would consider playing was Vanishing Sage, but he's a level 1, and he just has like no ability to special summon himself. He just says, if you control a Utopia monster, draw a card. And I was considering him, especially with some of the cards that allow you to manipulate levels, but I decided against it because too much niche interaction or too much niche play to justify playing that card. Moving on to the new stuff, though. 1 Astraltopia. So this card right here is at 2, because as good as it is, it's only as good if you have an XYZ monster out. So you can only special summon this card if you control an XYZ monster, and then you can send 1 card from hand or field, and you get to add to yourself 1 XYZ, Onomat, Zexal, or Numbers, Spell, and Trap. So this is how you search your Onomat spells. This is how you search your Zexal spells, search your Numbers, Spell, and Traps. It's good. It allows us to search the Counter Trap, allows us to search for Zexal Field, which Zexal Field I think is needed in the deck, and I'll explain why when we get to like the extra deck and stuff like that. Yeah, the card is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It's really good, and I apologize if I like ramble or continue on. It is 3 in the morning where I'm at, so we're doing this profile pretty late, so I do apologize. Just bear with me, guys. It's good. Hands down, this card is a good extender for the deck that we desperately needed. It allows you to send off like the XYZ change tactics or the Monoto pickups and stuff like that in order to get like more impactful cards to further your strategy. And it's only, like I said, it's not a starter. It's a very superior extender and a very what's the word I'm trying to look for? A very distinct extender. You must have specific extender. There we go. It's a very specific extender, as you have to control an XYZ in order to special summon it. There is that. That's why it's at 2. You would like to see it in your hand, but you don't want to open multiples. The Astral Karibo. This card has such great potential, in my opinion, and it is great, but there's a few things wrong with it, and I'll read. What this card does, it says you reveal an XYZ from your deck, extra deck. Summon this card, and then its level becomes the rank of the XYZ that you revealed. So you reveal a rank 4, its level becomes 4. Then you're locked into number monsters while this card's face up on the field. So you have to practically link it into Utopia or any other number monster you're playing, which the next best number monster that's halfway decent is Giant Hand. So when this card is as a material, that XYZ monster cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. That's huge. But the fact that it locks you into number monsters and it's a hard once per turn, 1 is good enough. Hands down, 1 is perfect. You don't want to see any more, any less. But that is it for kind of like the newer stuff that came out. This, like I said, I think this ratio is correct. You could potentially bump this guy up to 3, but then you'll see too many of it. This card right here, you definitely don't want to see more than 1 in your hand because it's just a brick otherwise. There are ways to unbrick your hand in this deck with Zexal Construction. However, you don't want to rely on that a lot. Moving on to like the older stuff. 3 Utopic Onomatopoeia. So this card right here is the best normal summon in the deck. On normal summon, special summon as many Gaga, Dododo, Zubaba, the blah 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 language baby cards from your hand as possible. And this card is always treated as a Zubaba, Godogo, Dododo. I think I said them all. There we go. Awesome. That is good. That's a condition, not an effect. So even if they negate this effect, that is a condition. So that's good for us. Great. This, like I said, this lets you flood the field. It will most of the time eat an Imperm or an Effect Veiler or a Chalice. It'll just eat all those, and that's okay. Because sometimes like this deck doesn't need its normal summon. And that's like something else I've been kind of testing with is playing Rafflesia in the extra deck to be able to beat the Rock. Because this deck can play through Ash, this deck can play through Imperm, this deck can play through both of those together. It's just the Rock. And the way that I discovered tonight while playing the deck was that if you just hold your normal summon, very much like I've been doing with Plant Link, is that you hold your normal summon, they rock you, then you hit down that normal summon and just go combo anyway. So that's like one of the ways that this deck can play around the Rock, or play through the Rock, but the deck can play around the Rock. If you open any 2 level 4s plus Zexal Field, which of course Zexal Field's searchable, the level 4, the deck is designed to put 2 level 4s on the field, so it's very possible. You can summon Dragnar as your 4th summon, but it's just very weak to summon out the Hope Harbinger. So you need Zexal Field in the mix to be able to summon out the crazy cards that I'll show you in the extra deck. That's a VFD, or close enough to it. But we are moving on to Gaga Coat. This card right here is really good. You're normally adding this off of Onomatopoeia along with the Utopic here. So this card just says if you control... Oh gosh, this is crazy. If you control a Zubaba or Gaga, you can special summon this except for himself. You can special summon this card from your hand. So this is where like this card comes in key. So like if you normal this guy and they Imperm you, you can still special summon this guy from your hand to still make the rank 4 that you need. But this guy lets you Monster Reborn a Dododo or Go from your graveyard. And he can, like I said, special summon himself from the hand if you control a Zubaba or Gaga from on the field. And then we are on to Dododo Dwarf. So the Dwarf is really good on summon, or you can special summon from your hand I believe it's a Zubaba or Gaga monster from your hand. So like you can summon out this guy, you can summon out this guy. You normally, well, of course you wouldn't summon out this guy, you'd summon this guy first. But this guy is like the next best card. So these two guys, they all work together in a way. So like this guy can't special summon himself if you control this. You must control the Onomatopoeia, the Utopic Onomatopoeia. So this guy right here this is like a weaker normal summon, so it's like the best normal summon is the Utopic Onomatopoeia, and this is like the next best one because you can normal this and then special this guy out. Since this guy can't special summon himself because you don't control the correct baby language, it's just it's the weaker normal summon that we have. And then the best effect is in the graveyard if you control a Dododo or Go-Go that's except Glove or Dwarf, excuse me. It doesn't matter, it's both the same names. You can special summon this card back out. So this card is like recursion from the graveyard. And then you want to pitch this card with Onomatopoeia because it's just full combo that way. Onomatopoeia plus Dwarf is like it's like full combo plus some. It's really good. For the last monster, 1 Pegasus. So Pegasus here, like they should be the Tornado Bringer. I believe that's what it is. It says like whatever it's equipped to can't be targeted. However, male. This card is crazy. It's a monster effect negation on resolution. So no matter how big your chain link is, you just choose the monster effect you want to negate, and then it will negate it. And then if your life points is 2,000, if your opponent's life points is 2,000 higher than yours, you can special summon this card. If you see it in your hand, it's rough. That's why Zexal Construction, which we haven't got to yet, allows us to put it back, which is great. But sometimes you won't see Zexal Construction and you see this card in your hand and you have to go a completely different like XYZ route because Leo Arms is not worth it. But that's why you need to play the second weapon, so like you can still turn on Leo Arms, you just won't have this guy. And yeah, but that's it for the monsters. Like I said, definitely play the extra Zexal weapon for sure. Moving on to the spells. Triple Construction. So this card is a -1, but it searches so much it's kind of worth it. You just reveal a card from your hand, add a Zexal weapon, Zexal Sage, Zexal spell or trap, rank up magic, rank down magic, and then shuffle the reveal card back in the deck. So it just gets you to any, practically like almost anything in your deck. There's a few things it's missing out on, but that's okay. So that's why you played it. And like its ability to put back the bricks of the deck, which of course is like Pegasus or double or nothing, and it's just good. I wish it wasn't a -1, but it is what it is. So moving on to this card here, I played this card at 3, change tactics here, but I think I might play it at 2 moving forward. But this card just says, anytime you summon a Utopia monster, pay 500, draw. Not once per turn. You can draw like a crazy amount of crazy amount of cards because you're summoning a crazy amount of Utopia monsters. It's just, I think 3 was too many. There was too many hands where I saw 2 of these in my hand. So I think the correct choice is to cut it down because it is searchable by Utopia. So it's not just having to hard draw anymore. It is now searchable a little bit better. So we might just move it to 2, but it's crazy. This is why I kind of like the deck, is like going into games 2 and 3, you're able to, if you get a hold of this card, you're able to draw cards and draw a lot of cards, like 7, 8 cards. It's remarkable, and that allows you to draw into your side deck cards, which is sometimes like detrimental to blowing up your opponent, especially with combo decks being a lot more resilient. You need those blowout cards to be able to win. But moving on, we are on to 3 Onomatopoeia. Discard a card and add 2 monsters, 2 of the listed monsters from your deck to your hand, but you can only add 1 of each. So you can add 1 Zubaba, 1 Gaga, 1 Go-Go, 1 Dododo by pitching a card. So you get, it's pretty cool. Like I said, if you pitch Dwarf with this and you just add the coat and then the Onomatopoeia, and there you go. And then again, apologize guys, these guys are kind of tongue twisters, so I do, and then like I said, it's early in the morning, so I apologize if I'm stuttering with those, stuttering getting their names right. For the rank ups, 1 rank up magic Zexal Force and 1 hyper rank up magic Utopia Force. So these are searchable by the Zexal Sage, by Zexal Construction, and then like you can make Dragnar with Utopia double. So like if you do that and you search this card right here just allows you to make Leo, which allows your Dragnar to be able to summon out something else like the Hope Harbinger or something like that, to end on an extra interruption, which is really good. Hyper Force here, when you rank up and then an XYZ monster is summoned, you get to attach this card as material. And then this card says if your opponent's life points is 2,000 or higher than yours, banish this and draw a card. So yeah, pretty decent. I do believe this is the correct ratio. Because like, you know, sometimes Leo Arms is just going to hold the line, man. You got to play Leo Arms, and you got to be able to make it, and this card just allows you to make it. Hard make it. You activate this on top of the Sage or something like that. Any rank 4 becomes a Leo Arms, and then you get to put up 2 interruptions, which is pretty decent. 2 Onomatopoeia pickup. On activation, add any Onomont card from your deck to your hand, so you can add the Onomatopoeia, the Utopic. And then this is like the niche effect. All monsters on the field become like level 4 practically. That's the level you're going for always. So that's really good. This card, I don't want to play at 3 because like I don't want to. You're already playing 3 to para. You're playing 3 of the Utopia. So you don't want to risk like this is just additional names. So you're technically playing 5 copies of Utopia. You're playing 5 copies of Onomatopoeia. So you just don't want to brick on it. However, like when it fetches you the piece you need, you can I normally send this with the Astrotopia from the field to end up searching out like any of the cards that I'm missing, either whether it be the Counter Trap or Zexal Field. This card, yeah, it's just an additional searcher. Like the deck is very consistent in what it does. Double Zexal Field, so I'm just going to skip past the part of this card that does the Shining Draw sort of thing. Just know that what this card says is when your opponent cannot respond to you activating cards or effects that target an XYZ monster. So it just means that your rank ups here resolve without any sort of opposition. It's like Magical Meltdown. And then whenever an XYZ monster is summoned from the extra deck, you're able to equip a XYZ from the extra or graveyard to it, which this card right here is pivotal, which I'll do a combo video showcasing you guys how to play with the rock and stuff here in a little while. You need to open Zexal Field plus 2 level 4s to play under the rock, because you make Dragnar and then you activate this and then you summon a particular XYZ that's a VFD, and you did the Dragnar on 4 summons, and then you're summoning another card during your opponent's turn, so you get to play around Nib, and it gives the deck a solid win con, because if you try to play under Nib, the only card you're going to be summoning is Dragnar, or excuse me, you're summoning Dragnar as your 4th, and you're going to summon Hope Harbinger. Whoopee. And you better hope your opponent has a spell. Or you can summon out the number 90, I think it is, Galaxy Lord, and you just better hope your opponent can't play through 1 interruption, 1 monster negate. So I believe this is just a necessary evil to the deck, and I like it so far. I've resolved it a few times. Searchable as well, like I said. And then for the one-ofs, reinforced with the army. Besides Astral Kribo and the Dwarf, everything's warriors. Zexal Entrust, a searchable Monster Reborn for your Utopia or your Zexal Sages. Monster Reborn, Call by the Grave, your combo deck. And Double or Nothing for the OTK. And because Utopia Double is crazy being able to... It's the only way that you're able to make Dragnar without hard opening or searching up the Hyperforce. But yeah, these cards are really good. I wouldn't change anything about these. Zexal Interest does have the ability to banish itself from the grave, of course, if your opponent's life points are 2,000 or higher, and then you get to add any Zexal card in your graveyard back to your hand. So you get to add back like Zexal Construct or like Zexal Fill to get rid of it. Anything, really. And then finally, the last card, Numbers Protect, the counter trap for numbers. Control a number of a monster. When a monster spell or trap is activated, negate it, destroy it. And then if a monster, numbers monster is sent from the field to the graveyard, and this card's in the graveyard, you can reset it, but then banish it when it leaves the field. It's also our out to Dark Ruler no more, because we can put up a pretty imposing board with like 2 monster negates, a spell negate, and then Dragnar's being able to like manipulate battle stuff. So like we're able to put up a pretty menacing board, but Dark Ruler no more droplets can kind of just like clear the whole thing. So that's why being able to search Numbers Protect allow us to be able to play through those. And then like you can also just like on your weaker boards where you have like Dragnar plus number 65, searching this or hard setting this is just another interruption to be able to hopefully hold the line and not get blown out. But that's it for the main deck. Like I said, it is a 40 card deck. I'm very certain that I will cut down on the XYZ change tactics. I'm not a fan of hand traps. I believe the 1-for-1 hand traps are just not worth it. Like I said, I don't know if I touched base on that earlier in the video, but if I did, I did. If I didn't, just quick recap. I hate 1-for-1 hand traps, play blowout cards. This deck can play through in 1 Ash. There's no point in playing the 1 hand trap. You want to play more blowout. So I don't know what I would play in the stead. Maybe like Chalice, Dark Ruler no more. I don't have droplets, but like they're pretty cheap now, so I'd probably pick them up. It's very interesting on what you would try to play because the deck is pretty tight. I don't want to go over 40, so let me know what you guys are playing down below. Moving on to the extra deck. So we are on to number 99, Utopia Dragnar. This card, I play 2 copies of it because I think it's just that crazy. You could probably get away with playing 1, but I wanted to test 2. And 2 didn't come up per this locals, but I need a little bit more testing to justify if I want to cut this card or not. This card is bonkers. You summon it super easy in the deck. The entire deck is designed to get to this card. Quick effect, detach 2, summon from your extra deck an XYZ monster. Any XYZ monster. And then when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can make that monster attack become 0. Insane. Just straight up insane. This is like the boss monster that Utopia's been waiting for sure. Moving on. 1 Ultimate Leo Utopia Ray. This card is what we're ending on. So this card is crazy. Detach one material from this card, then you get to equip any Zexal weapon from your deck to it. And then if this card is equipped with a Zexal weapon, you get the quick effect impermanence like a quick effect impermanence, and then a half. So then just by resolving Ray, you get 2 interruptions, 2 monster effect negations right there. And then probably one of my favorite cards that we've got is the Zexal Sage, Utopic Sage. This card right here just lets you beam out any of the sages that you're missing, whether it be armed or ascended. You can summon it from the deck. And then if a light XYZ monster you control will be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish this card from your field or grave. It's crazy. And like, I just love the artwork of this card. Like, I just really, really like the Zexal Sage's artwork, and this card is crazy. I like it. And then we're on to 2 Utopias. I don't know if you need to play 2. I feel like you could get away with playing 1 Utopia and then 1 Utopia double, but however, I played 2 for this event. I very seldom used 2 Utopias. I normally went Utopia when I opened Hyperforce, or I normally went Utopia double to get up higher into that. But anyway, 1 Utopia double. This card is necessary. It allows us to rank up into Dragnar without getting access to a rank up. So like, you're not always going to be allowed to get to your rank up. So like doubles, and it's a quick effect to rank up too. So like what I really wanted to happen was I wanted to use like all the Zexal Sages, make double, attempt to add the rank up. My opponent chains Imperm, Veiler, anything that targets, I then chain double, going up into Dragnar and getting all the cards I was going to get anyway. But this is also the way the deck OTKs by allowing you to do the old double or nothing, 1 punch sort of thing. So pretty cool. Just the typical Utopia ladder. 1C, 39 Utopia Ray. You could also play Prime, but you pretty much just smack this guy on top of him, and you just use this to give your Dragnar extra material. Utopia Lightning is pretty crazy, being able to attack and not like them be able to do anything, and becoming 5,000 is really good, I hear. And now this is for the Spice. 1 number 65 to Gen Buster, and 1 number C 65 to Gent Buster. This is the combo that I was telling you. These cards are part of the combo that I was telling you guys about playing under Nibiru. So if you open Zexal Field, you put Zexal Field in your field spell zone, and then you make Dragnar on your force summon. During the opponent's turn, you activate Dragnar, summoning out the C65. And Zexal Field lets you attach this as material. And this card says if it has number 65 as material, your opponent cannot affect monsters your opponent control cannot activate their effects, period. VFD 2.0. It is very low attack, but that's why Dragnar's so good, because Dragnar just allows you to be like, okay, the monster that just declares an attack, its attack becomes 0. So it puts your opponent on having 2 monsters bigger than 16 in order to get rid of it. And then if they do get rid of it, they've wasted their battle phase. So it's really, this is like a solid win condition and a solid like line to play while under the threat of Nibiru. So I do think it's necessary, but if you don't want to play that, this is just 2 free spots you can put in the Utopic Future stuff if you want to. I just thought like this deck is very similar to Phantom Knights, where it has monster effect negations covered and it's lacking in spell and trap. So I just thought that making the F0 was just not necessary. And then like if you have Zexal Field, you can summon out Hope Harbinger instead of this guy, because like then that's double protection. But then you don't need to make Leo Ray, because Leo Ray negates monster effects. So if you make this, you just cover everything. So yeah, I liked it so far. I resolved it a few times today at locals, and it was winning. Like it won games, especially when you open Zexal Field. You just have the ability to know you can go that route. So you have like Overfiend, Dragnar, and then 38 out. You can negate a spell. Your opponent cannot activate monster effects in general, and then like your opponent just has to be able to put 3 monsters bigger than this, and they're going to lose twice because of the Dragnar, and then the Hope Harbinger will direct the attack to it. So like it's phenomenal. I don't know what else to say, guys. Like, try it. If you guys don't like it, play whatever you want. For like the other rank 4s, Dweller and Tornado Dragon, just utility. This card can just win games. This card is just good to press back row. Not really much more can be said. Any of these guys, but Tornado Dragon and even like the Sage here, any of these guys are practically the targets for the rank up Magic Zexal Force. Any of these cards can get turned into Leo Arms. So do keep that in consideration when playing the deck. Especially like if you've exhausted like your Tornado Dragon and your Abyss Dweller after 2 turns and they're just sitting there, you can definitely rank them up into Leo Arms if you haven't already gotten access to it. For the final 2 cards, Hope Harbinger, beaming out with Dragnar to be able to spell negate, and of course manipulate attack to protect the Archfiend. And then finally, of course, it's an XYZ deck. Every card's XYZ, you have to play Zeus. This card is, you just have to. You get locked in XYZs pretty early. So like in those like hands like where you have to make lightning, you climb up the lightning ladder, punch once, and then it's just, once you punch again, you can smack a Divine Arsenal down. It's just, this card is crazy for a reason. Like there's no question of why this card should not be played in a deck like this. But like I would probably, I don't know what I would cut, to be honest with you. Maybe a Utopia and play like Giant Hand maybe to fit another like form of disruption in. But yeah, guys, so that is the first deck profile for Utopia. If you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to give me a like and a comment down below. And stay tuned. I'll probably, like I say, I'm going to do a few iterations of the deck, and this needs just a little bit more fine-tuning to get to where I want it to, but use this deck as a shell. But more importantly, guys, please remember to stay healthy, stay safe. This is Charles from Team COG, signing out.